Yes, Mr. Speaker, I rise to make a brief intervention on the Child Justice Amendment Bill. And this bill speaks to the removal of the period for which a child can be sentenced to a correctional facility as stipulated in the legislation, and allowing the judge to use his or her discretion. That debate is actually bordering around the role of the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary in the three branches of government. And it is our responsibility, Mr. Speaker, to decide how far we allow one entity to encroach or dictate the pace of the other. And this is the essence of the discussion that we have today. And based on the contribution from the member from Beaufort South, it is begging the question as to whether the legislature should have that power within its ranks or assign it to the judiciary. And many times, Mr. Speaker, we speak about the wills of justice in this country. And many people believe that politicians can just do things. Politicians can arrest people. Politicians can send them to jail. But they do not realize that there is the judiciary system which we have no control over. And this is something that we may have to examine as we move forward in the separation of powers among the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. But, Mr. Speaker, as we speak to child justice, and if there is one person who can speak to child justice without quoting the law, I think I can place myself here. Because I spent 34 of the best years of my life with children. And that is the opportunity we have to shape the lives and future of the children that are entrusted in our care. And Mr. Speaker, this bill also afforded the leader of the opposition the opportunity to launch an attack on statements. And I take it, Mr. Speaker, that this morning I made a statement, and statements are not usually debated in the House. However, the statement that most people have been following the social media, and many people believe in statements, Mr. Speaker. But there are times you make statements, and there are times you engage in action. And as minister with responsibility for gender affairs, people are of the view that the Department of Gender Affairs is a department for women. It is a department for gender, meaning both men and women. And therefore, if we have to make statements about any incident, it has to be incidents involving both men and women. And Mr. Speaker, it is not because the incident involved a woman that the Minister of Gender Affairs will immediately spring up and make a statement. If it involves a man, the Minister of Gender Affairs must also make a statement. And this is the point that I'm making. This government has taken action, Mr. Speaker, as we speak about child justice, to improve the quality of life for both men and women in the society. We have all kinds of allegations going around, all kinds of speculations around this event. And I wanted to put the question to the leader of the opposition as to whether he made a statement and what has happened since he made his statements. Because people just pick up things from the social media and they launch an attack. But Mr. Speaker, this government has made provision to address issues surrounding the incident that is alleged, Mr. Speaker. And the incidents that is alleged that took place, or the cause of what took place, the matter is still under investigation, but some people already know what happened, so I don't even know why the police has to investigate. We have the Women's Support Center, we have the Crisis Center, we have the Department of Gender. There are several institutions available for women to access when they find themselves in a crisis situation where they are threatened. And it's not just a statement from the minister that will change that. It's the mechanisms that we put in place to address these issues that will make the difference, Mr. Speaker. We have the One Stop Center, and this is a project that we are undertaking funded by the CDB. And that is where women who are in distress, they can go there and bring their cases forward so that we can address them. Mr. Speaker, the investigation must reveal what happened, what gave rise to the incident, who did not act in a timely manner. These are the facts that we need for us to address these issues. Not a matter of who did not make a statement and who made a statement, is what actions that we are taking to address the issues we have in the society. Mr. Speaker, before we reach the point of criminal activities, we have to look at how do we prevent criminal activities. And that is where the issue of child justice comes, Mr. Speaker. This government has invested heavily in education to ensure that children are meaningfully engaged in activities that will enhance them, develop their brains, Mr. Speaker. And that is where we talk about the laptop. We talk about improvement in the quality of education, teacher training, improvement in schools. Millions of dollars are spent in that area. Early childhood education. Mr. Speaker, we speak on sports. Look at where Julian Alfred has taken us at the global level. That is how we deal with child justice, Mr. Speaker, where we prevent the children from reaching that stage. We have the areas of skills development all over for our young people. Create employment through the youth economy. They can establish their businesses, Mr. Speaker. And this government has engaged in a wide range of social programs to assist families so that they can put food on the table, they can take care of their health, they can send them to school. These are the things that help us so that we do not reach a point where we have to even talk about child justice and children being sentenced to bodily. Mr. Speaker, we have to ensure that the government continues to do what is right, so that at the end of the day, we will protect our young people. We will protect the children in our society. They will not have cause to find themselves in the presence of a judge, especially at a tender age. And that is where the single mothers need support. That is where the education sector needs support. Create the social programs for them so that they are meaningfully occupied. Mr. Speaker, many of us question, and there was somebody out there, Mr. Speaker, parading with a placard and what the women in the house are doing. It's not the women in the house. It's the people in the house, not the women. And it's very convenient for some people to attack women, to undermine them, to frighten them anytime they make a step to get into decision making. And I will not be intimidated by these people who use the opportunity to intimidate women, to frighten them, and tell them that's not a place for you. You need to stay out. And there are some women, I will encourage all women to engage in decision-making at the highest level, at the political level. But our women in St. Lucia must be very careful. There are some very unscrupulous, dishonest persons who claim to be politicians, and they use these women to lead the charge for them. And afterwards, they jump in afterwards. We must be very careful that we are not used to push the agenda of some unscrupulous persons who have political ambition. And this is what I saw it in the social media, attacking this one and attacking this one, and who did not say anything and who did this. Mr. Speaker, the business of crime, the business of justice is the business for men and women in this house, out of this house, at the executive level, the legislature, the judiciary, and the wider society. We must stop this game of playing on the minds that we are so sympathetic. We are sympathizing with certain people. And there are people, Mr. Speaker, I'm sending the message to them that they must not be used by others. There are some people, as soon as they hear an incident, they jump in. Where have these people been before? What have they done to improve the lot of men and women in the society? And it's not because it's convenient, politically convenient for them to make statements that they come out and they just make a statement. This is a government that don't rely just on statements. We believe in action. And we have demonstrated what we have done in everything that this government has engaged in. And it's on that basis I will not sit and lie low and allow people to come here, come in this house, go out there, go in the social media and attack, oh, the women in the house, they have said nothing. It's not just the women in the house, it's both the men and the women. We are concerned about our young people, we are concerned about the women, we are concerned about the men. And our objective is to improve this society for all. And therefore, this child justice amendment is one where we have to explore how best we can exercise justice in this country. Mr. Speaker, as we speak on child justice, I just want to raise the point that at Borderley, it is not a one-size-fits-all. It is an institution. As we move forward, we may look at how do we dissect this institution to cater for different sectors. We have women, we have men, and we have young people. This institution may very well be one where we have to separate in 3 different institutions, because the needs, the way they are tended to, is not a one-size-fits-all. And as we speak about sentencing children, we need a juvenile area for young people so that they serve what is just and right for them at their age. We have a section for women. You cannot treat women at Borderley just like you treat men. And you have a section for men so that you treat them according to who they are. So these are issues that will bring in new things on the agenda as we look at the legislation, we look at the way forward so that we achieve what is best for our citizens in the society. And I encourage women to keep their eyes open, understand what is happening around them, and do not allow themselves to be used to peddle things that other people are afraid of coming forward. And once they hear them go forward, they come after and then they make the point, because they capitalize on that. Mr. Speaker, I want to give support to this amendment with the hope that as we move forward, we continue to improve this legislation so that we can make things better and there is greater justice in the society. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.